I mean, there's been loads of scientific studies and all sorts of research into why we're happier when we're next to water.
Get Radio Breakfast with Rich Smith.
10 years of independent Oxford, and a big thank you to Rosie for putting us in touch with all of these wonderful indies that we're speaking to all of this week. And next up, we're going to be speaking to Andrew T of the Oxford SUP Club. And I've purposely been calling it that to tease you into finding out exactly what it is all about. Andrew, good morning to you.
Good morning, Rich.
Thanks so much for joining us. Well, first and foremost, put everyone out of their misery. I've been calling it the Oxford SUP Club with tongue in cheek. But of course, what does SUP stand for?
So, Oxford SUP Club. SUP stands for Stand Up Paddleboarding.
Of course.
So we are Oxford's paddleboarding club.
Absolutely fantastic. And first and foremost, congratulations to you as well. 10 years in the game as well.
I know. Thank you very much. It seems like only yesterday, 1st of May 2015, we started. And we started with a river tour on the Thames, up the Cherwell to Magdalen Bridge for 6 a.m. on May morning. So, it's still a tour that we do every year. And it just seems like, weeks ago that I started the business, and now we're 10 years in.
It's amazing. And on the website, and actually even just what you have spoken about there, Oxfordshire is blessed with glorious and stunning rivers, and kind of time that you kind of spend on boats, on paddles, on what have you, time spent around the rivers. It's different. Don't ask me why, and don't ask me to qualify that in any way, shape or form. It's a different walk, a different way of life, a different being, just being near those rivers and spending time on those places. I don't know, feeling serenity, relaxation, the water helping. Please help me out of this hole, Andrew. I am talking sense here, aren't I?
You are talking sense, Rich. Absolutely. Yeah, there's been loads of scientific studies and all sorts of research into why we're happier when we're next to water. Who doesn't love a day at the seaside? I know I do. I've just had a couple of days down in Poole at Sandbanks working, my little early year trip to the seaside, and that was wonderful. Working, I'm so lucky to be working, around water and on the water all the time. And there's a definite, connection. There's something about being, out on the rivers, out on the reservoir at Farmore where we're based, and it just brings a kind of a little bit of zen to an otherwise busy life. You're right. We are blessed. Obviously, with Oxford, we sit on the Thames. One of the biggest rivers in the country, and being able to paddle through the centre of Oxford is wonderful.
No, it is, and. It's always, I was going to wrongly say, because I know that kind of, I've got friends and what have you who are always sort of in and around the water and kind of go, it doesn't matter what time of year it is. It's always time to kind of don a wetsuit and kind of get into the water and have some fun around there. I was going to wrongly say it's getting into that time where temperatures are rising and all this kind of stuff. But surprising to me as maybe someone who's not massively as outdoors, but this is basically an all year round thing. If you've got the equipment and you've got the necessary heating protection, if you will, it can be done absolutely any time.
Absolutely. And Rich, so as a club, we paddle all year. We're lucky enough that we've got a base at Farmore Reservoir, the Thames Water Reservoir, just outside of Oxford, and the great thing there is the tide is always in. We've got water all year round, and we're not affected by rivers being in flood. The River Thames has been in flood pretty much since the middle of October, and it's only just in the past few days come off sort of river warnings. So it's only just the flow is calming down enough that it's safe to paddle on, and Yeah, we've had some amazing weather in January, February. Yes, it's been cold and the water's cold, but blue skies and sunshine, and there's something really special about being able to paddle all year. And getting out on a Sunday morning, when everyone else is tucked up in bed, and getting that fresh air and a bit of sun on your face early in the year is, it's just wonderful. I love winter paddling.
Yeah, and also just an image as well. So we sort of got friends and family who live near Wallingford, and obviously the river sort of stretches quite wide through that sort of area, the Goring area, and etc. etc. And sort of doing the walks along the rivers, you always see the sort of paddle boards and potentially taking lessons and what have you, with everyone sort of sat listening to instructions from your good self or various different people and different ones around and what have you.
Yeah,
and you're always looking at them. And you're right. It just seems so relaxing. There's me on the bank going, "Is anyone going to fall in? Is anyone going to fall in?" That's what I'm looking for. But it's not that. It's about that kind of relaxation and fitness as well.
absolutely. Yeah,
I did not realize until my wife resides in Mauritius, so we go back there quite a bit, and she does stand up paddle as well. The core strength that you must have,
absolutely. Yeah,
kind of wow.
yeah. Really, really good for the core. It's very similar to, in terms of calories burnt, very similar to running or cycling. Even though it looks really kind of smooth and serene, because your body's constantly kind of working like a little gyroscope to keep you upright, to stop you from falling in. You're using muscles from your toes right up to your head. And all the kind of stability and strength comes from that core. So yeah, it is really good for you.
So
mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, it does. It does. It ticks a number of boxes, and I guess as well because there must be a real sense of camaraderie as well with kind of groups and lessons and people sort of learning together to ultimately kind of probably end up either sort of hiring from your good selves or getting sort of paddleboard and going off on on their journeys on a summer's afternoon when safe to do so, and seeing the beautiful sights of Oxfordshire that maybe actually you don't see because it is a different sight from the water. I've gone past the head of the river pub, for example, in Oxford on a boat. It looks totally different than it does
absolutely
walking past it.
Yeah, and the wonderful thing about exploring Oxford by paddleboard is you can get to bits of Oxford that you can't, by any other means. There's parts of the sort of university that you can explore that unless you're studying at that university, you wouldn't get anywhere near. So, sort of up under Magdalen Bridge and around the back of the university buildings there. It's wonderful. It's a really great city to explore by water, because there's so much of it that you can get to, whether you're, at that part of the city or north of the city on Port Meadow. I mean, paddling down Port Meadow on a summer's evening is hard to beat. It's just wonderful. And we'll be sharing the water with people rowing, people sailing, people swimming, people walking their dogs and dogs running in and out of the water and kids running in and out of the water. It's really quite special.
No, it really is. And what I can't get over as well is the massive houses that are on the river as well. My days.
The further south you go. I mean, actually, if you paddle from Oxford, sort of from Iffley down to Abingdon, you pass some enormous houses down there, and then the further south you go towards sort of Henley and Marlow, it's a millionaire's playground down there for sure.
It certainly is. Andrew, it's been great catching up with you. I kind of want to do this because I know maybe people are sort of listening to this and kind of got inspired and kind of going, do you know what? This is the time of year. I'm going to do it now. Where can people find out a little bit more about you and kind of where you are? Maybe book a lesson or come down and sort of check everything out down at Farmore?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I would say if you want to kind of see what the pinnacle of paddleboarding looks like, then come to Farmore on Saturday, because we're going to be hosting the first race of the GB SUP National Series. So we've got currently over 70 paddleboard races from across the UK booked in to come and battle it out on the water. That's not to say that everyone paddleboarding is going to end up racing. The bigger end of the sport is very much in the recreational side of paddleboarding. Check it. Have a look at the website. Check us out. It's oxfordsupclub.org. We run lessons pretty much from mid-April through till the end of October every year. Everything from a 1 hour, very simple beginner's lesson, right up to one-to-one coaching and racing and instructor coaching and all sorts. So, definitely come and check us out.
No, we will for sure. That looks absolutely wonderful. Andrew, it's been great to catch up with you, and congratulations once again, 10 years in the game, the Oxford
Thank you very much.
SUP Club there. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks a lot for your time, Rich.
No, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I highly recommend going down there. Just check out the website and you'll see the perfect image of exactly what we've been describing about for the last few minutes or so, with everyone just sort of sat on the river and the beautiful sunset in the background. And you're like, yeah, want a piece of that.